Blog Talk Radio.
What is up, everybody? Let's Talk Jets Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Sirkin, getting things started. Tyson's going to be here in a little bit. I'm sure to bring all sorts of chaos. As always, you guys can find us on YouTube, Spreaker, Instagram, and iTunes. Just search Let's Talk Jets Radio. The support throughout the season has been incredibly overwhelming and has definitely helped us get through a miserable year. So, again, thank you to everybody that's joined us, not just on Tuesday nights, but on the live streams as well. We've had a blast doing that. Sunday was, another chaotic win. Unfortunately, we really didn't get to, enjoy it this year. Hopefully, again, if that's not your thing, tune in next year. We'll see what kind of product we have out there. But again, for those of you that enjoy the negativity, that enjoy the drinking and the cursing, we had a great time this year. Right now, again, Tyrone he's MIA, Tyson's MIA. So I may just roll solo right now, or I may bring a few callers on. We'll see what we're doing here. But the news of the day, Adam Gase, unofficially, officially, however you want to say, he's been told that I guess he'll be fired by Chris Johnson. This is news according to Craig Carton earlier. And again, I know there are some of you that are saying that you'll believe it when you see it, but this is enough for me. I was in that boat for a very long time. I still, kind of want to see it first before I start to celebrate. But hearing it from Craig Carton that, it's been told to him, I guess, by multiple sources, that it was told to Adam Gase, Chris Johnson, he's ready to move on. So I think this is it. Take a deep breath, sigh of relief. I think most still worry that Johnsons may find a way to screw up the actual hire, but that's a different conversation. At the very least, we can focus on moving on from Adam Gase, so that's awesome. Well, let's actually go to the phones right now because, again, I have no idea where Tyrone is. Tyson should be here in about 5 minutes. So somebody that I know has a very strong opinion on this, my good buddy Jay. What's going on, dude?
Ding dong, the witch is dead, baby. Let's go.
So are you ready to celebrate yet, or are you still a little, back of your mind, like, are the Johnsons going to do something stupid to screw this up?
No, because you know how it is, Kev, with the Jets media world. I mean, if this was not true, the Jets beat would be all over it, refuting it and saying that that it's not true, that they've heard no word of such a thing or anything like that. My gut instinct tells me that the PR team told them that they were not allowed to discuss it until it actually happened, because that I'm sure if Craig Carton's getting the news, the beat knows what's going on there in the building. So there's a reason they weren't talking about it yet, and there's a reason that nobody's confirmed it. But at the same time, there's also a reason that nobody's denied it, right? So that's the tea leaves. I mean, if nobody's denying it, it's true. And I believe Connor Hughes actually
I just walked in my apartment about 5 minutes ago, but I heard on the radio that I guess Costello tweeted something similar at about 5:30, and he didn't even credit Craig Carton. I guess with the news, he basically unofficially kind of confirmed that Chris Johnson's ready to move on from Gase.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, it's good news. Whoever's confirming it at this point, it just solidifies it. I heard that. I honestly was working all day, so I haven't really been keeping up on social media with all of it. But I had heard that I think Connor Hughes also did a podcast or did some kind of live stream or something where he basically confirmed it as well. So
Connor Hughes was reporting that Joe Douglas is pretty much going to be the one that's running the search. He'll have final say. Chris Johnson's going to be hands off with it, I guess, but we know how that tends to work out sometimes. So.
Yeah, well, look, they can say that, and then they can do something totally different, right? So I'm concerned. I mean, I'm not going to go crazy with celebrating. I mean, they should have come to this conclusion a year ago when the fans did. They should have never hired the guy in the first place. So I have zero faith in the Johnsons to do the right thing. And look, man, it's bittersweet, right? Because while we're all happy that Adam Gase it looks like 99.9999999% out the door. At the same time, as fans, we really, we've endured a lot in this last decade, right? We've gone through, rebuilds and changes of direction and new coaches and new GMs, and they never seem to get it right. And it's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Like, how many times as fans do we need to be asked to buy in to the new guy, right? To the new shiny toy and the new guy, which is why for so long, we were all so excited when we were 0-13, 0-12, 0-11, 0-10 about a culture changer or an actual real life changer, game changer in Trevor Lawrence, right? I mean, I'd be so much more excited right now if we got this news on the heels of 0-15 and Trevor Lawrence still in sight. Now he's gone. And I think we could have gotten to Trevor Lawrence if we would have done this 5 weeks ago, right? We could have fired Adam Gase 5 weeks ago. You could have had the new coach under the word from Joe Douglas that you are going to be starting James Morgan or, whoever, and we could have lost these last few games, and we could have and spare me and all these people spare me this culture winning it doesn't carry over. There's no tangible difference in going 0-16 or 2-14 or 3-13 except for we lost Trevor Lawrence and the drawing power of the coach we could have brought in. So I'm still concerned about who that coach is going to be. Like, who's it going to be? I see a lot of people talking, today about Martindale. I mean, is that the guy? Like, are we seriously going to go now to another coordinator, an unproven coordinator? That I mean, if that's what it's going to be, like, I'm not gonna go and like openly bash it because like it could work out, right? But like it's just not the dreams and hopes that we had of Cowher, a situation like Cowher and Trevor. I mean, that's a game changer. Now you're in sitting back and hoping mode again. So
and that's exactly what fans don't seem to realize, like the cost of these wins, and that's what like Tyson and I were talking about last night. Like, even if you wanted to build around Sam, like the cost of winning these games and not being able to trade down now or not being able to sell your new head coach on first pick, do whatever the hell you want. Like, that is huge. So, yeah, I mean, maybe the Johnsons open up the checkbook, they find a way to, lure Matt Campbell or somebody else in here like that, an attractive name, and we all get excited. But like you were just saying also, I'm just tired of looking, for the light at the end of the tunnel and hoping for things to turn around when we're constantly being sold the same bullshit and we're constantly in this perpetual rebuild that just never seems to end. Right. I want to see some actual results. But before I start to change my tune and say, yeah, you know what, we're really turning it around. And, something like I saw you talking about, like, I'm fascinated to hear what Chris Johnson's going to say. Like, when he addresses this firing, how does he address it to the fan base? Like, as soon as, at the end of week 1, he was still trying to sell the fans on this guy being an offensive genius. He doubled down that Adam Gase was the guy that we should all believe in. So now how does he change his tune? Like, is he going to own up to his mistakes, not just during this hire and, what he did wrong, firing McCagnon, 4 months after hiring Gase and, like, everything they've done over the past decade? Is he going to own up to it, and is he going to learn from it this time around?
Well, what would be nice, Kev, is if, like, let's say this would really have me inspired that maybe there's a change on the horizon. And maybe Jets PR is listening to this, and maybe they can get in his ear. Maybe this can happen, right? It'd be so bad if he sat there in front of the camera with an upset look on his face, the same way that the fans felt for the last 2 years, right? Like, be relatable. Say, listen, I was a little in over my head. I became the owner of the Jets almost overnight. I learned some lessons on the fly. I thought I had learned from the Mike McCagnon experience and firing. And I allowed myself to be swayed by a phone call from an absolute legend and NFL, icon. And I made the wrong hire, and like a year into it, or less than a year into it, fans are irate, and and they go 6-2 down the stretch, and basically, like, at that point, I had no choice in my own head but to run it back and hope for the best. And it didn't work out, and I screwed up. Like, how come everybody else in this world, when they make a mistake, can own up to it, show some accountability, and say, hey, listen, I made a mistake? Like, that's how people learn. People don't learn from being yes and surrounding themselves with yes men and people that are not going to challenge them. You learn by making mistakes, picking yourself up off the ground, and explaining to your audience, your customers, whoever you disappointed, that I know what I did wrong. I realize what I did wrong, and it's time to change what I'm doing because what I'm doing isn't working. Like that's the message I want to see.
And I think that's why Joe Douglas earned a little bit of respect during his press conference. Like, he owned his mistake with Robbie Anderson. He said flat out, like, I miscalculated the market for him. Like, he screwed that up, and he owned it.
Even Adam Gase, who showed no ability to do that, owned up and said he didn't do his job of developing Sam Darnold.
Yes, once he realized he was about to be fired. But that's also what I was just going to get to. Up until that point, he hadn't done that, which is why I think he never earned that, that little bit of sympathy that Todd Bowles had. Like, Todd Bowles, he made similar mistakes to Gase, yet he was kind of more of a sympathetic figure in terms of the media and the fan base because he was more likable. He was relatable to the fans a little bit. You wanted to support him. Almost every coach the Jets have had over the past 2 decades, we've wanted to root for them. Rex, Mangini, Herm, like those were likable guys. Not one time has Adam Gase ever been likable where you wanted to give him that extra chance,
And it goes deeper than that, Kev, because what's so frustrating about being a Jets fan and what really sets me over the edge? And, am I over the top with my reactions to Jets ownership? Yeah, but what drives me crazy as a fan, is when, there's things that are so wrong with this team that are so obvious. And then you look on the Jets' social media or in the Jets' talking points that they give through the media or through their TV shows or whatever it is that they produce, right? So, the stadium is hot garbage. Every Jets fan hates it. If you took a poll, 95% of fans would tell you that they hate the stadium. We put out this message that they're so proud of their wonderful stadium and blah 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 blah, and people say, oh well, what do you expect of them? I don't expect to be pissed on and told that it's raining, right? Stop treating your fans as if they're idiots, because they're not. This is one of the smartest fan bases that you'll ever come across. I know sometimes it doesn't look that way because we're always fighting with each other and everyone has a different opinion and perspective on how to fix things. But, wouldn't it be nice if just once there was nothing to fix? It was just back in 2010 when the team was winning games and going to AFC championships back-to-back years, there wouldn't be fans fighting about the way to fix things. They'd be sitting back enjoying football. Right? And we haven't enjoyed football in 10 years. And yet, the first year of Adam Gase was a miserable failure, right? They doubled down on it, and then the owner comes out after week 1 after they got drubbed, and he talks about how great this coach is. No, he's not, dude. Stop it. Stop treating us like we're stupid. Just be honest with yourself, and if you're honest with yourself and you're honest with us, you'll buy yourself some leeway. But, what I can't stand is just the constant doubling down of failure. And and that's why we get to a decade-long playoff drought. That's why we get to, a stadium environment where if opposing team fans aren't packing the building, it's empty, right? Because the product sucks, and it has sucked for a very long time, and you have an angry fan base. And listen, man, I would love nothing more than to be done being angry. And I would love for this to be the start of winning. But I can't just blindly buy in at this point and say, oh yeah, this is an amazing day in our Jets fandom because Adam Gase is gone, because that's literally the most obvious thing that needed to be done. Now is the hard part. Now is the part where you replace him and you have to find the right guy. And I have unfortunately no faith in those people not because I don't want to have faith. I'm cautiously optimistic. I want to hope that the next guy is going to be the right guy. But, man, we've been sold a bill of goods too many times in a row to just say, you know what, finally we're going to get that guy. So what I'd like to see, and I don't think that it's impossible still, Kev, just because we don't have Trevor Lawrence, does that mean it's impossible to get Bill Cowher? Why? You can't just open up the wallet and say, listen, I understand this is going to be a little tougher than if we had Trevor, right? But we have all this cap space. We have all these draft picks. If you want Darnold, you can keep him. If you want to trade him, you can get a couple more draft picks for him. This is not an impossible situation to win him, but we need the right coach. You're the right coach. What's it going to cost? And let him throw a number out. What if it's $15 million a year?
Okay,
what
so
if
if
$20
it is,
million?
You think the Johnsons are meeting that number? They're not meeting that number.
Okay, but you need to have that conversation to figure out what the number is. Like the Knicks, as poorly as it all worked out, right? I mean, it wound up being a complete and utter disaster. But the Knicks went out and figured out a way through all their losing to get, Phil Jackson in the building. Now that was an unmitigated disaster, but at the same time, like you can't knock the thought behind it, right? Like they needed that guy.
Is Cowher even a guy that Joe Douglas would want though, or is that a threat to his job now?
I don't know,
again,
man. I mean,
if Joe Douglas doesn't want to interview him, can Chris Johnson override that? I mean, according to Connor Hughes, Douglas was going to be the one that's running this coaching search. So if Cowher might be interested in the job, but Joe Douglas doesn't want him, do we want Chris Johnson then to intervene? Like, this is fucked up, man.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, look, end of the day, obviously you need a guy who's lockstep with Douglas. So if Douglas has other guys in mind, look, the point is, if a guy and you could sub out Cowher and put in a litany of other guys in that spot. Like, so let's say Campbell's that guy, or let's say Bieniemy's that guy, or whoever the guy is that they decide is the right guy. Please just don't go bargain basement shopping for would I buy into Martindale? Like, I'd have no choice. If they bring in Martindale and that's going to be the guy, right? The last time we brought in a Ravens defensive coordinator didn't work out so bad, right? So if that's the guy, then that's the guy, and we're going to have to roll with it. But, like, me personally, I would much prefer, like, an offensive mind. I mean, we've been stuck in just, perpetual offensive nightmares for so long, except for 2015. Like, it's time to, like, revamp this offense. And I'm so with you, Kev. Use every asset, every draft pick, every dollar that we have this offseason to fix the offense. I can roll. You watch that defense on Sunday. I can roll with this defense next year with another year under them and take my chances, honestly. Maybe sign, maybe one or two guys, but like the bulk of every penny that we spend and every draft pick that we put out there that, this year, it's got to be offense all day. And then, this team is like, I mean, we're so far away from competing. We're like, exactly what the Dolphins were when they got rid of Gase. But they were able to turn it around with the right coach, right? Like the Dolphins are going to the playoffs. I mean, it doesn't like make my life any more miserable, honestly, to see Ryan Fitzpatrick out there slinging the ball around and as a Jets fan, it was almost kind of funny. And they're going to be back in the playoffs 2 years after getting rid of Gase. So like you get the right guy, you get the right person in there, and I think that this rebuild doesn't have to be 4 years. It doesn't have to be 5 years. But
I still just worry about them being actually able to get the right guy, because initially from the first year, I think all of us are just going to be so excited to get rid of the status quo of things that we're going to latch on to the new head coach, and we're going to think that, we found the guy, even if he wins 5 or 6 games, just, minimal progress, we're going to be excited for that in the first year. But, like I was telling Tyson during the live stream yesterday, every year where there's, a new cycle of coaches that come in, usually, 5, 6, 7 guys, there's maybe 1 or 2 that stick around for 5 or 6 years. And right now, where would you say the Jets rank on the list of vacancies out there right now? I mean, are you really choosing Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, or whoever over Deshaun Watson, over Trevor Lawrence, over Justin Herbert?
I hate to say it. Well, that's why I'm so dead set to me in my brain of figuring out what it would cost to get a guy like Bill Cowher in, because, like, we are dead last, I think. I honestly think that, like, if you put us up against a prospective coach can choose between coming to this hellhole of a media circus with immediate expectations and pressure, to turning around either Darnold or grooming, an absolute question mark as a rookie quarterback, or you can step into Justin Herbert, Deshaun Watson, the list of places it's so weird. All the openings have quarterbacks, have legitimately good quarterbacks in place. That's one thing we don't have. So I mean, we're and that's what scares me. And you know me, like I'm a big Sam Darnold guy. Like I still believe you can build around him and build a team that way and find success that way. But not having that number one pick. You can go to the Jags with Trevor Lawrence, or you can go to the Chargers in LA with Justin Herbert, or even Houston with Deshaun Watson.
And that's what I'm saying though. Like not having that number one pick and losing out on the coach with it. is what's so demoralizing about it. Like, I can deal with losing out on Trevor Lawrence, even though that sucks, even though I think he's going to be great. I could deal with losing out on him, but losing out on him and the head coach, that was the reset that we needed. To get rid of the last decade, to get rid of especially the last 2 years with Gase, that was exactly what we needed. That was, I think, our best bargaining chip to get the top head coach. And now, like you just said, we're probably dead last, if not, second to last maybe, in terms of, where a head coach would want to go.
Yeah, it's a really tough spot, man. And, we're just going to, as fans, I mean, we got no choice, right? We're going to have to sit back and hope for the best. I mean, whatever situation comes out of this, our biggest nightmare has been avoided. So we avoided the landmine of, like, the Jets tripling down on Adam Gase, something I was really concerned about as recently as yesterday. I mean, I was honestly I was thinking to myself, oh my God, if they go on a 3-game winning streak to end the season, Bill Belichick is in the media talking about how Adam Gase's teams play so hard for him, and Sean McVay is out there talking about how hard they play for him, and the players are going to bat for him, and I'm like, I'm sitting there like, oh my God, it's happening. Like, this is like they held on to him for long enough where they would have some tiny measure of success, even in the smallest measures, and like the sales pitches would start for why he should stay. And I was really, really worried about it, man. And, so this was big news today, obviously. But now, like, this was the easy part. Now the hard part begins. And I'm not looking forward to another off season of it, man. I got to be honest. Like, just once in my Jet fan life, I want to go into an off season with a settled quarterback situation and a settled coaching situation. It's been so goddamn long since we've had that. I mean, it's like, we're coming into the 2011 season with Rex and Sanchez at that point, and we saw how that turned out. But, we haven't had a settled head coach and quarterback situation where we knew we were coming into a season, with those two positions, locked up and looking good. And it's just, I mean, this is what we get. I mean, we had Fitz for a year. He wasn't even our starter to start that year, and then he basically went on strike that offseason, came back fat and out of shape, and sucked. Right? So I mean, it's like we haven't had a settled situation in so long, and it's just getting very difficult as a fan to sit back and watch.
And I'm already dreading just like the next 4 months of hot takes as far as what the Jets should do. I mean, like, you're already seeing it. Like, the season hasn't even ended yet. We don't even have a head coach, and people are already trying to say the Jets have to do X, Y, and Z at quarterback. Like, that's a decision that you would think a competent organization would probably leave in the hands of their head coach / whoever's running their offense. And I don't know.
Dude, there's still
a lot of directions they can go in, and you still don't know what you can potentially get in the trade. What kind of system you're even going to be running next year. There's so many unknowns.
You look at guys like, and then you look at guys who are available, like Fields. Like, what is Fields? We have no clue. Do you think that the Redskins thought that they were going to be cutting Dwayne Haskins with as good as he looked at Ohio State, like a year and a half into his contract, into his rookie year, a year and a half into his rookie deal? I mean, you think that like you get one of these quarterbacks, and you look at a guy like Wilson. I mean, when Josh Allen was coming out of college, Jet fans didn't want to touch him. They thought he was a bum. We were all freaked out. It'd been a mutiny if we drafted him. We all wanted Sam, and we see how all that worked out. I mean, it's like you have no clue what any of these guys are going to be on draft night. You might think but at the end of the day, you don't have any clue. You think that you're drafting your next guy, you might not be. And so if the problem is if you go ahead and you draft the next quarterback and he stinks, then you're setting your organization back another 3 or 4 years. So it's like,
and that's the thing. Like, if you choose to build around Sam and you actually get those picks right, you still have the foundation in place, and you're only wasting 2 years.
And then you can
and then
move
the
on
fifth year option,
after a year.
and then you're plugging the new quarterback in, and you're not really wasting any draft picks. You're filling your roster, which is completely barren right now. So Jay, great call, dude. Yeah, go ahead. Last thing.
One last thing. What I'm really concerned about, I really am concerned about this in a massive way just because of his connection to the Eagles. Like, can't you just see the Jets making some move for Carson Wentz this offseason? Like, I just feel like it's like in my head, I just for some reason can't get around the idea that the Jets are going to make a move for Carson Wentz, that they're going to trade Darnold, and then they're going to have all this money to spend, and they're going to say, F it, Let's try to reclaim Carson Wentz, who was, quote unquote MVP candidate only a couple of years ago. And it's just, I just have this bad feeling about it. It's going to drive me insane. So, let's just take it one day at a time.
Both of them kind of worry me a little bit.
Oh my, well, if you get one, you're not going to get the other. That's the thing. You're not going to get both.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Jay, good talking to you, man.
All right, man.
All right, you good? All right, and now 25 minutes late, so we're going to have to deduct that from his next check. Tyrone, Mr. Hollywood, what's up, dude?
Yo, nah, that's your man Tyson, bro. That's all Tyson, bro. That's all Tyson, bro. Yo,
no, it might actually be my fault because it might actually be my fault because I said I might be a little bit late, so we were contemplating starting at 8:15 or 8:30, and then I walked in at 7:50 and said, "Fuck it, let's just start it." So. Yeah,
that's what it is. You wanted to show for yourself prime time. It's all good, but I understand, man. 30,000, 40,000 views, man, it don't matter, man. I mean, it's the price of doing business, man. And I told Tyson earlier, man, that last check, man, is a little short, man. I'm just, hey, bro, listen, let's get out of the negotiations.
Not what I wanted at all. You clearly weren't listening the first 2 minutes. I was like, holy shit, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. There was like 5 calls on the screen. None of them were numbers that I even recognized where I could just bring them on to talk. So.
Anyway, well, you know what's crazy is
Go ahead.
I'm saying, you and Jay, I definitely wanted to talk to Jay, but like I said, man, amazing call as always. But I mean, you hit it out the park, man. Someone DM'd me yesterday. After the game, they were like, "Bro, how you feel?" I was like, "Bro, I'm happy for the win." I said, "Bro, listen, I wasn't. We didn't want the Jets to lose. We wanted them to lose when it was purposeful for us to get Trevor Lawrence in the first pick of the draft. That made things easy. Not getting Trevor Lawrence complicates everything. And you guys just hit it out the park, man. Now we have to look for the second best coach. You know what I'm saying?
Third, fourth, or fifth, or sixth best coach.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that sucks.
And again, there's still a chance. We could get, one of the top candidates if the Johnsons are willing to, open up their checkbook and, write a fat check. Maybe we do get the guy that we want. So I'm not saying there's not a chance. I'm just saying, looking at the history of the Jets the past decade, how we usually handled these coaching hires and who we end up usually getting, who we have in the building, we don't usually end up getting the right guy. So hopefully the Johnsons have learned from that. Jay and I were talking about, I'm very curious to hear, what the Johnsons are going to say to the base as far as trying to explain the hire and, how they doubled down after week 1. I think that might give a lot of insight into how they're going to go about things this time around. But hopefully they're hands off. Hopefully they let Joe Douglas do his thing. And, you let a football guy make football decisions.
That's the reports I've been reading today. You're gonna let Joe Douglas make the pick, but this is what scares me more than anything, prime time. So having the first pick, getting Trevor Lawrence, you could take a chance on a college coach or something like that. Now, you kind of limit yourself in the kind of coaches you can bring in, because that coach has to make a major decision from day one. Do you keep Sam and build around Sam, or do you draft one of these young guys? And like I said, man, I've been saying the whole time, these young guys, to me, I'm not impressed. I don't think they're ready. I don't think they're going to come in and make us better than what we were.
Will the head coach, not to cut you off, but will the head coach be able to make that decision? Will Joe Douglas even hire somebody that goes against what his thinking is? Like, if Joe Douglas wants to draft somebody, is he only going to hire somebody that wants to draft a quarterback? If he wants to keep Sam, is he going to avoid a candidate that wants to draft a quarterback? I mean, there are so many things that can play out. And like Jay and I were also talking about, what if on the slight chance Bill Cowher would be willing to come here for $15 million a year, but Joe Douglas, thinks that might be a threat to his job, a power head coach who might want some personnel decisions. Maybe he doesn't want that. Do we now want ownership to interfere? There are so many things that can fucking play out in the situation. It's crazy.
Hey, well, I'm going to tell you this, man. Bill Cowher wants the job. I don't give a fuck what he wants. Give it to him. Bottom line, I mean, that's a no-brainer right there. And I think that the Johnsons, I think Joe Douglas himself understands, bro, this decision is your legacy, bro. What I'm saying? These guys, these GMs aren't getting job after job after screwing it up. If Joe Douglas turns around the Jets, man, he could basically write any job he ever would want. if he can fix this dysfunctional organization. So it's going to be really important who he gets in the building, what kind of direction he goes, the coach he comes in having a plan. Because, like I said, man, it was easier having the first pick of the draft. Now, what job would you take? The Texans, Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Jacksonville. Jacksonville looks really good. They're going to bring a new GM in, a new head coach in. You got Trevor Lawrence. You got $60 million in cap money. It's a really good job. You know what I'm saying? No state income tax. And the owner who just wants to win, who's going to stay the hell out the way. Or you come to the Jets, deal with our media. You know what I'm saying? The best thing about us is we have the best fans in the world. You have talent. And we're a talented team, man. I keep hearing people saying, man, we're a depleted team. We're not as bad as everyone thinks. It's just not having the structure, having a coach.
Wait, what? Repeat that? What?
You said what, Prime Time?
Did you just say we're not that depleted?
No. I mean, what I'm saying is this: we have young talent on this team. Like for them, listen to.
I don't normally fight with you. How many building blocks do we have on this roster? Honestly.
I mean, we got Becton, we got Mims, we got May if we resign them. We got our young defensive line. These young guys are stepping up. Prime time. We're not as bad as ever.
But I'm talking about game-changing talent, like guys like Nathan Shepard and Foley. Like they're good players, but you look around the league and you can find a bunch of guys like that you can replace like that. I'm talking about game changers, premier talent at premium positions, especially wide receiver, offensive line, cornerback, pass rusher, uncertainty at quarterback, head coach.
Well, Prime time. I'm trying to listen, man. I'm trying to get to the good point of where we're looking at, having something better than what we having. But it's frustrating as hell because I know the fact that we're a much better team than we're letting on. And that we could have maybe been better with a better coach. But like you said, it is a lack of talent, And I think that, I think the whole time you guys are right. I think Joe Douglas knew. That's why he didn't make any major moves in the offseason. I think he was looking for 2021, and that was his plan the whole time. I really believe that's what it has to be because where we're at right now is it's pointless and it's futile to believe that I knew Gase wasn't coming back, bro. There's no way you can bring him back. There's no way you can sell that to the team or anybody else. They're not fighting for him. These guys are young, and they're fighting that because they love football. They're not fighting for their coach. The coach sucks.
No, totally agree. So I think we can bring Tyson on. Pretty sure he is here. Yo, Tyson. Nope, he must not be.
Nah, I think he's still training, man. So
Ding dong, the witch must be sleeping.
Huh?
Oh wait. Hold on. I thought he wasn't there. Tyson, you there?
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
What's up, OG triple?
What the hell happened with the show? I thought it was 8:30, then it's 8 o'clock. What happened tonight? What is going on here?
Listen. Your boy Prime Time, man, pulled an audible, man, at the last minute, and you sitting there looking at me like, yo, Tyrone, what's going on? Talk to your superstar over here, man. Talk to the superstar. He makes calls now, man.
What the fuck are we doing here, man?
Yeah.
You notice he wants the spotlight to himself. Gase gets fired. He wants the spotlight. He wants to be king of the castle.
If that was true, the first 5 minutes would have been fire. If you listen to the first 2 minutes, I had zero fucking clue what was going on. I was just saying there was 4 calls on the screen. I didn't recognize any of the numbers. I had zero notes because I walked in 5 minutes prior. I just figured, all right, it's 8 o'clock, might as well just start the show. I figured Tyrone would be ready to go, and then show starts.
Well, you told me, you're like,
Tyrone's nowhere to be found.
You said, listen, man, I'm training, dude. I don't have time to sit there, but hey, you say I can't make it. I'm 8:30, Tyrone, but I'm training, dude. I don't have time to sit there trying to figure out.
Traffic. I didn't know if I was going to make it.
Prime time.
Shit.
Tyson, when we talked, you said 8:30, correct?
That's what I said.
Okay. Listen, Tyson, I get on there, yo. He's just having a ball, man. I'm telling you, man, it's the prime time show coming next, bro. Look.
He's like, you know what? I want my audio to be heard. That's what it was. No, he probably wants to be contracted. He wants his voice to be heard. Holy shit.
I'm sitting there messages prime time, yo, get me on. He was like, nah, hold on, bro. I'll get to you. I was like, wow, bro.
Wow. That.
Yeah, that threw me under the bus, man. So how you feel
All right,
about
well,
training tonight, bro?
Well, dude, let's go to calls. We got a ton of people on hold, so we'll go to calls, and I'll share my thoughts on how the Jets mishandled this firing. Let's be honest. The way they handled this is fucking ridiculous, but he's finally gone, which is good. 5 more days, this clown's out of here, and then you got to hope we get a good coach, and you got to hope that the Johnsons stay out of it and let Joe Douglas do his job. Like, my biggest concern before we go to calls is this. Joe Douglas is going to find his guy, and Woody Johnson or Chris Johnson become enamored with somebody else, and they don't jive, and then we have the same clusterfuck we've had before. Like, just back off, let Joe Douglas find his guy, get everybody on the same page, everybody wants the same quarterback, everything, and just move on as an organization. Like, we desperately need some leadership, we need a direction, we need football guys making football decisions.
Hey, but I agree. Primetime agrees. Absolutely.
I totally agree. But the one caveat would be, what if on the slim chance that the guy like Bill Cowher or a Sean Payton or a prominent coach becomes available, and Joe Douglas didn't want that coach, or is maybe threatened by that coach if they wanted player personnel decisions or something like that.
If it's a Sean Payton, Joe Douglas is out here. Then I'm like, you sorry, dude.
Hey,
you
bro,
take a lesser role, you're out.
So that's what I'm saying.
Hey,
though. We're sitting. It's kind of like we're kind of waffling a bit, right? Like, we're saying we want Joe Douglas, the football guy, to make the football decision, but if the right coach becomes available, then we want ownership to interfere.
Hey,
in that situation, you're looking at a prominent winning coach. That's a very powerful, like a top, one of the top coaches in football. If your general manager can't work with him, your general manager has some issues, dude. Like, then that's you're telling me, listen, we go to Joe Douglas and say, listen, we can get Sean Payton. He's like, yeah, man, he's not really my kind of guy. What, winning? You don't like winning? You don't like changing your culture? Like, if Sean Payton and Bill Cowher aren't on your list as Joe Douglas, then I really can't help you, dude. I'm like, you know what? We have a fundamental issue here because it's just, that's like apples and oranges, man. If they can't agree on, like, Martindale from the Ravens, like, all right. But this is Sean Payton, which you probably have to trade for?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Hey, there's no way you would allow Sean Payton to come in the door or Bill Cowher, bro. I'm sorry, man. You have to find a way to make that shit work. I mean, listen, This is the whole thing that we understand that, man. We have a lack. Our last two coaches have shown us that we have a lack of hiring coaches that are disciplinarians, that are teachers, that groom and make young players better. We can step back and look, and how many young players can we say really improve? I said Fukoski. Shepard's starting to play a little bit better, but it's getting young talent in the building and making these guys better. So any head coach that can come in and do that, I don't care if it's a college coach, I don't care who it is. I just want to see some stability, and I want to see a good decision and move forward. Now, my biggest concern is having the coach come in and enamored by one of these rookie quarterbacks. I mean, it scares me. I just, and I don't know what to do. That's why I'm glad I'm not in that decision, because I'm just a fan. I don't know I don't even know how to feel now. I'm out here doing mock drafts and shit, like trading the second pick, for all kinds of other picks. Or do you build around Sam, or do you bring a young guy in? It's like that decision right there, man, is going to be the most important. The coach and then the Sam decision is the most. It's going to determine where we go out for the next few years, man. Like, I don't want to be set back, but I like what Primetime said. If you decide to keep Sam and you build around, you still have a winning. You're still fixing one part of the problem. But the most important player on this team is going to be the quarterback, and that's something that we do not have right now under wraps. That's scary.
That's also really,
all right, let's go.
Yeah.
What we'll do is we'll go to the calls, do like one question each, and then get through them. We got like 20 people on hold, man, so we got to get going. So, prime time, start firing them out. All right,
we'll start it off with Archie in LA. Archie, what's up, dude?
Hey, how you guys doing? Happy holidays to you guys. The holidays are better now that Gase is gone, hopefully. Quick question, and then I have another thing I want to talk to you about. But, okay, so Christopher Johnson, what you mentioned this prime time. I'm curious. I'm asking you the question now. You're pretending to be Christopher Johnson. What are you going to tell me to justify why you didn't fire Adam Gase earlier if you knew weeks ago that you're going to fire him? Why did you wait? What are you going to respond with that as Christopher Johnson?
I'm fascinated to hear what he's going to say, like not just to that, but how he's going to explain his rationale for the entire 2 years of it. I mean, along the way, him and Joe Douglas both have excused every piece of failure that this guy has done, And yeah, I mean, even as early as week 1, he went out of his way to double down on this coach being the offensive genius, trying to sell the fan base on him. So I'm curious to hear how he's going to try to justify that, and whether or not he's actually learned from all the mistakes from this hire, from the disaster with McCagnon, and forcing him and Gase to work together. Like, if he's going to learn from all that and apply it towards the new head coach in that search.
I got a question for you, Arch.
Yeah. Go for it, Kevin.
So, like, what's your idea of a decent head coach? What kind of idea? What would you, if you had somebody in mind? Who's somebody that you're thinking about that can really take over and make this work?
Well, I mentioned to you fellas a few weeks ago, and I don't David Shaw, the coach out of Stanford, he absolutely. He's an incredible coach. He's literally a man among men, and I think he'd be great for the job. His name hasn't really surfaced. Of course, Sean Payton is just like la-la land. We're never getting him. It's a dream scenario. But, I definitely want a guy with head coaching experience. Absolutely someone, not a coordinator. The enemy, Wink, Martindale, these guys, the flavor of the month. I know they could probably make great head coaches, with teams with more talent, but not with the Jets. We need to build our culture first and foremost before we get the other stuff down. And I really think we need that CEO-type guys that you've been talking about. I wanted to bring up one other thing and chat with you guys about it. Like most Jet fans, utterly depressed with losing out on Trevor Lawrence, and now you move into like, okay, let's look at this from a different perspective. And I wanted to start to look at things out of like a position of gratitude instead of anger or hostility. And a few things just to note to you guys, and just want to hear your comments. First of all, we're really lucky to have the number 2 pick. We should actually be like the number 4 or 5 pick in the draft. We absolutely should have beat the Raiders, probably should have beat the Pats. So you're looking at like 4 wins at this point. So the fact that we still have the number 2 pick is pretty damn good. So it's something I think is lost at a lot of Jet fans, because we all were in on the tank, and we were rooting for the Pats to beat us. We were thrilled when they beat us. We were thrilled when the Raiders won in that ridiculous, blitz by Williams. So I think to look at that and get a sense, that's something that's really important that I think we're overlooking. And on top of that is the idea now with Douglas being in charge, right? He would have that number 1 pick. And Carson, I know you've mentioned this before, like, you have the option of you could trade for a ton of picks and move down. You really couldn't. Joe Douglas, if we had that number 1 pick, there is no way in the world he could trade out of it. He would have been crucified. He would have been forever known as the guy that traded out of the pick to get
yeah. No,
right? But you don't trade the number 1 pick. You don't trade.
But exactly,
You're taking Trevor Lawrence.
You're investing in a quarterback that's
right.
I'm sure of a thing that you're going to get. And that's what I'm saying right now, the position that we're in picking between, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, whoever, we could still be in the same position had we been picking first overall, but we'd have an additional 4, 5, 6 premium picks from being able to trade down. And that's why I'm frustrated. That's why like the people that are rooting for wins or say, oh, this is fine. Like, yeah, it's okay, but it could have been a lot better, but we chose – to celebrate these couple wins. So, Archie, appreciate the call, man.
One last quick thing, and then I'll jump. Sorry. This is another thing to keep in mind, okay? If you look at the past 25 years of the NFL draft, past 25 years, only 5 quarterbacks that were picked at the top of of each quarterback was the best one in their class. So when they talk about generational talent, right, he's like Luck, he's like Peyton Manning, he's like Elway. The best person in Elway's draft was not Elway, it's Dan Marino. The best person in Peyton's draft was Peyton. The best person in Andrew Luck's class was Russell Wilson. So all I'm saying is have faith. The generational talent may not necessarily be the quarterback.
True indeed. Hey, thank you for calling in, bro. You have a good night, man. Appreciate that.
All right, next up we got Richard in West Palm. Richard, what's up, man?
What's going on, Richard?
Hey guys. Nice to be on with you guys. The problem with the Jets is, first, it's the head coach who, I don't understand. Other teams fire their coach, like, I think mid-season, like the Falcons and the, who was it also, I think the Texans with Bill O'Brien.
Yep,
the Jets, they've got a host of issues. First, Adam Gase gone. Guy should have been gone halfway through the season. This team needs an exact rebuild. And by winning those last 2 games, you're unfortunately going to be getting stuck in more of a rebuild for a couple more years, I think. I'm like, how long is this going to take? And also, not just Joe Douglas. It's got to be Christopher Johnson and Woody Johnson got to work together and agree on the candidate because if they don't, maybe Joe Douglas is. I know Joe Douglas has got a 6-year contract. He's going to be on the line too. So they've got to work together and find a good solution.
Well, I'm going to disagree there as far as Chris Johnson and Woody Johnson agreeing on anything. I don't want them involved with this search at all. Finally, we have a guy like, Joe Douglas, who's, a respected football guy in the building. He's the one who should be, in theory, running this search. He should be bringing in his own guy. If it doesn't work out, then in 2 years you reset the entire thing, and hopefully you bring in a general manager and you kind of redo the reporting structure, and you let the head coach report to the GM, and you finally fix it for real. Right now, Joe Douglas is the only football guy that you have in the building. So I trust him a lot more than I would, Chris Johnson or Woody Johnson having any say at all in this coaching search.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's been the problem. That's been the problem we've been doing for so long.
This may not be worthy of call, but also I'm the guy who's always been commenting on your videos, and I'm a fellow host on Blog Talk Radio, by the way.
On which videos?
Oh, what?
Well, you said you've been commenting on the videos? What, on YouTube?
Yeah.
What's your name on there?
Yeah, on YouTube.
What's your name on there?
Oh, Richard Miller.
Okay, yeah. I remember you.
Yeah. You guys remember me. I'm always commenting on your videos. I'm also a fellow host on Blog Talk Radio.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it. Well, thank you for calling in. Look forward to talking to you again.
Have a good night.
Okay, have a good night.
You too, man. Be well. All right, moving right along. Holy crap, there's a lot of calls on hold. All right, we got Devonta up next. Devonta, what's up, man?
What's up, Devonta?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Pretty good. How you feeling, bro?
Gase is gone. Feeling a little better.
Well, hold on. I don't know if Gase is entirely gone. I won't believe it until he's literally out of the building and it says it on ESPN. Real quick, I just wanted to say,
why I knew you was gonna say that, Devonta? Why I knew that was coming out your mouth tonight, bro?
Listen, y'all know me. Y'all know I come with the facts. I come with facts written down. Nah, but honestly though, huh?
I said I got a question, but go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I just wanted to let these delusional fans know that they lucky that I don't have much time because I was about to roast them. Because I've been watching, I've been listening to the calls, I've been watching the comments, and y'all been pissing me off. But I'm gonna let y'all slide today. But go ahead and ask your question, man.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, man. So, what would be your plan right now if you were sitting in Joe Douglas' spot, man? What would be your plan? What would be your plan for Sam, or what would be your plan for a head coach?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm tired of drafting quarterbacks. Christian Suckenberg, Bryce Petty, Geno Smith and his jaw. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just sick of mediocrity. I really believed in Sam. I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't want Sam. I actually wanted them to draft Josh Allen. But I believe in Sam. I'm just tired of drafting QBs. I'd like for us to spend our picks on things we need, like linemen, whatever. I'm tired of average talent. I need elite talent. You know what I'm saying? And if we can keep a quarterback and get a motivational head coach that will inspire these players to run through a brick wall, I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to hop on a Sam Darnold bandwagon on this one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I tend to agree with that. I also think, though, whoever, the head coaching hire ultimately is, that's probably going to be the biggest determining factor. But, there's a lot of ways they can build this thing. I think, it also could come down to what kind of trade package they get, as far as weighing that versus, what you could build around Sam. But also, like, if you invest in whoever, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, whatever guy you choose, and it's not the guy, that could set you back 4 or 5 years. If you choose to trade back, build around Sam, and you do that correctly, you're not really getting set back at all. You're just kind of staying in neutral as you put necessary pieces in place in premium spots that you desperately need. So, I think
with
that
the quarterback
less
competition.
They could go that route as well,
Morgan,
but
get an undrafted rookie. Like, I'm
if
fine
James
with
Morgan
that.
was going to be a part of anything, then you think at some point this year he'd be active. I don't think James Morgan's going to factor into anything, which is why that pick still pisses me off.
Listen, I just need a new head coach. I'm sick of the bull. Sick of the mediocrity. But thank y'all for having me.
Coach.
I'm not going to hold up y'all time.
Yeah, appreciate you calling in,
man.
All right,
brother. Thanks. Have a good night.
Be good.
All right. Y'all too. Thank you.
But prime time, our next head coach is going to be the most important decision, brother. I mean, that's going to determine a lot of things, man. Either if he can come in and work with Sam, or if he can come in to fix. I don't know if you can fix Sam. I think that you can make him functionable. But if you build around Sam and you build around a team, I'm not talking about building around Sam. I'm talking about building a team. And that's what I think is what we need to be more focused on. If you can build up your O-line, you can fix your O-line. You can fix, things that you need. You need more talented playmakers, You need a lot of that, So you need speed on offense, and we don't have that, but a competent head coach can do a lot of things. But at the same time, you need balance, and that's something that we don't have. We've never had is balance, is Rex, Todd Bowles tried to do it as well, but he didn't have enough pieces, so,
Yeah, the roster obviously needs so much, but like you were kind of saying earlier, I mean, we really still don't know exactly what we have at a lot of spots. Like, there's a lot of young guys here that show some signs here and there, but what could they actually be with a competent coaching staff? We really don't know. We might have a little bit more than we think, maybe. I still don't think it's anywhere close to being enough to compete, but a little bit more than we think. And with all the picks we have, all the cap space we have, if you get that head coaching hire right, you could change it pretty quick.
But definitely, and prime time, the most important thing should be after Sam is fixing the O-line. I mean, you got to stop getting mediocre guys in and fix the O-line. That's the most important thing. I mean, you sign a guy like Tooney. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they're going to do with fans, or going to bring someone else in. I know, we'll go with that later on in the draft show, in the off-season show. But I'm just saying, man, you can fix this O-line, man. That'll definitely help. If you're watching Sam right now, if he's having a little bit more time, he's actually having a chance for plays to develop. But, the best friend to any quarterback is a running game. And, we go from that. But and congratulations to Frank Gore for 16,000 yards, man. Like I said, it's time to retire Pimp, but I'm just saying, man, that's a major accomplishment, man, for what he's done, being the player he's been on, teams he's been on. So.
Yeah, and of course, it's so convenient he gets hurt on that play, and he's not going to play this week.
Hey, he should have been playing. Well, you know what, time, I'm going to leave that one alone, because you've been robbing my boy You've been robbing my boy Tyson every week.
All right, so next up, I don't know if we should bring Tyson on for this one, but I guess we'll see if Tyson wants to jump on. We got Mike in Jersey City. We'll see if we could replicate the fireworks from last week. Mike, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Mike?
Up,
How you
guys?
doing tonight, bro?
I'm all right. Not bad.
How you feeling, man?
I'm good. Gase is gone, at least from what we hear, from what we can see. So
hey, listen, people stop saying
one thing that unites Jeff
Gase is gone. Let's hope he's gone. He's gone. He's done. It's over.
Sure.
So,
But as you guys were talking before about, the new head coach and who should it be, if there's one thing as a Jets fan that I've realized is you have to program your brain to just say, okay, I don't want these people, or I don't want this person, and as long as they don't hire this person, then I'm okay with it. Like if you say, oh, I want them to hire this person, then you're going to be disappointed. So it's like, for me, I don't want them. I don't want Bill O'Brien, Patricia, Marvin Lewis, Caldwell, just my God, right? And so it's like, if they aren't those guys, then I can't complain, especially since we literally just went through that nightmare scenario where I'm pretty sure unanimously no Jet fan wanted them to hire Gase, and they went and did it. And so, I guess, Kev, you just said they were looking at this guy, Nightdale from the Ravens, who I had no idea about, but I don't know anything about him. After this call, I'm going to look him up or whatever, but look, I can't hate it because he's not one of the guys that I...
He was the Ravens linebackers coach, I think, for 5 years, and then he's been their defensive coordinator, I think, for 3 years, top 10 defense each of the last 3 years. Apparently, good players coach. Minds a lot of people at Rex, apparently, so...
Well, it's like, look, yeah, I'm completely on board with, like, hey, I do want an offensive-minded head coach. I'd rather go down that route, but I can't hate it because it's not one of the guys that I don't want, that I truly do not want. Oh my God, what if it's Anthony Lynn too? And so it's like, it's just you got to take like your wins and losses like as much as you can. And I just wanted to like add something else. I feel like it was almost like too good. Like even though obviously last week with how it went down, my take on the win and loss situation, I just think maybe it was slightly naive for us to think that they wouldn't win a game because it's like, yeah, it's the Jets, so majority of the fans don't want that to happen. So of course they're going to win a game, right? Did I think it was going to be against the Rams? Absolutely not. I'm pretty sure literally everyone thought we were going to beat the Raiders. Like it was that last second that it didn't happen, but it was going to happen sometime. Right?
The hardest part, though, Mike, was actually getting 2-0-13, being in the driver's seat all year, being 3 games away, knowing Adam Gase is going to be fired, and then letting him coach with his back against the wall, knowing he's out the building, and open up the playbook, and we win 2 games and possibly cost ourselves a brighter future, possibly cost ourselves the top head coach. Also, like you said, there's a number of guys that we could hire that we'll talk ourselves into that could be good coaches, but we may have missed out on the best coach that we could have got. And that's what's still hard for me to wrap my brain around.
Oh, absolutely.
And the hardest thing, man, nobody wanted – listen, we didn't want us to lose. The most important thing was not losing Trevor Lawrence. Like, that was the biggest thing to me. You 0-13, Trevor Lawrence on the table, man, like, play the young guys. Play Morgan. That was the whole point of it, man. So that's the whole case of it.
The way the Jaguars did it. The Jaguars tanked the right way.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Hey, listen.
But I was just talking to someone else about this, and it's like, if you really look at it, though, like, look, if you take a look at our team and you take a look at the Jaguars, I mean, I personally would be more comfortable moving forward with what we have. I think the Jags maybe have a few pieces on offense. Their defense is absolutely atrocious. But if we're talking about, like, pieces in itself, I'd go in, like, thinking as a coach, okay, Becton, Q, Williams, May. Right now, May he needs to be, given his bag, but it's like these guys are legit. I'd like them like heading into 2021. The Jags, I mean, fair and square. It's like yes, we needed Trevor. I'm not disputing that, but maybe the Jags, we could see, who had the easier schedule and could only muster up 1 win, needed him more, right? So yes, it sucks. Like, I completely understand that. And I did want Trevor too. And I don't know what's going to happen with the Jets. But personally, if we're talking about the draft now, as Devonta said, I think not that I'm a Sam apologist, but I don't think we should draft a quarterback in the first round how good and how great some of the other players are in this draft, because we still do need some of – you can go ahead, sorry.
We need additional pieces. But, I truly understand what you're saying as well. And we don't want to get it confused. I mean, like, I was ready to move on from Sam when Trevor Lawrence was on the table. Now Trevor's gone. I don't think the young guy, and I could be wrong, but I don't think the young guys are better than what Sam could be. I don't think so. At this moment.
Completely concur. Absolutely. I don't like Fields flat out. Wilson, look, I just think, like, when we lost Trevor, when he died in our future, then just everyone out of the blue just jumped on Wilson, like he became the hot commodity. It's like we weren't hearing about him at all because we were so fixated on Trevor. So it's like I kind of know how that story goes too. And then, like, Trey Lance, I have no idea about. And then, like, Kyle Trask, I just keep, like, yeah, his knee's kind of busted. But that's where I'm at, you know, Tyrone, where it's like, look, I think I've seen mock drafts where it's like I love some of these mock drafts. It's like trade back, we're Sewell at 2. We get Pitts with the Adams pick or Devonta Smith or something, you know, and I love all of those picks or scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we got to look forward to. Plus, we got almost $75 to $200 million in cap money. So you can actually, like I said, man, I don't know, how good we could be, but we can actually turn this thing around quickly or start being competitive. And that's all we wanted, man. These guys fought all season, so you got the right element. You know, just having the right coach and making some right moves this off season. But my whole thing is, you know, it's not about building around Sam now. It's actually about building a team up. You know, we have a lack of talent in some key areas, man. Fix your offensive line, get some more receivers in, get some more talented running backs in, get another talented tight end in, and you know, and move forward. That's how you make this team better. That's how you make Sam's job easier, and you can actually really grade what he can do. Even with Gase, man, if he had more talent, he could probably do a better job. But when you have a coach that, you know, a lack of talent and a lack of coaching on both ends, you know what I'm saying? You're watching this kid regress. You know, he made a lot of bad decisions, but I just think that, you know, he tried to do too much. You know, now you're watching him relax and just play football, and he's doing a little bit better. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not going to base keeping Sam on 3 games. I mean, I just think that for me, a quarterback with 3 years experience instead of grabbing a rookie quarterback, and these guys aren't ready. The kid from BYU, who has he played? You know what I'm saying? This is college football.
New Mexico.
Exactly.
You know.
We're talking about some of the best cornerbacks, best defensive players in the league, bro, in the world. So, you know, yeah, it looks good against, you know, college teams. And I think what Phil's like last week or whatever, 2 weeks ago, when he struggled, that showed a lot, man. That showed you that, you know, don't get me wrong, the kid could be a really good quarterback, but I don't want to draft another quarterback to bring him in and don't know what he is. I mean, what you gonna do for Fields? Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing, though, really quick. I mean, let's just say, I mean, I agree. Like, I would prefer keeping Sam, building around him. I think that's the safest path. As long as you actually hit on those picks, you have something in place, whether it's for Sam or for your next quarterback. But what if your top head coaching hire that you want to bring in, and let's say we're actually successful, we hire him. Let's just say he says to Joe Douglas, I need Zach Wilson to run my offense. I can win with him. He's going to be my quarterback for the next 10 years. Don't you have to draft him?
Well, then I'm absolutely okay with that. Like, then those are the people you want making those decisions. You want Joe Douglas and then the head coach making that decision. You don't want the Johnsons to do anything with that. Like, if they can get a good like trade for Darnold, then so be it. But I don't want to, like, if I'm just thinking like we keep saying with me and Tyrone, the safest possible route. It's like, why not stick with what Darnold already knows? He has. You know, he's seen the NFL, right? So it's like a new guy's going to come in here, you know, just here's the playbook, you know, new playbook yet again. And, you know, let's get to work, right? So now it's like now a new coach is coming in. He needs to bring the team together, bring in his own guys, and also develop a rookie QB as opposed to perhaps fixing a QB. I don't know what's more daunting. I don't know what's easier because I'm not a QB coach and I'm not a head coach. If it's fixing a QB or developing a new QB.
I don't understand this conversation at all. I really don't understand this conversation at all. Like, I really don't understand what the fuck we're talking about here. So now we're saying Sam is the safest bet when he's going into year 4, and which is going to be a contract year for him.
You're clearly only hearing what you want to hear. What I'm saying is that it's the safest bet in terms of you're building a roster. The pieces will be there. If you hit on those draft picks, you have premium assets at premium spots, which we desperately need right now. Either Sam takes off, great, or he doesn't, and it's only a 2-year commitment, his final year on his rookie contract, and the 5th-year option.
Only a
2-year commitment, and then you bring in – hold on. And then you bring in another quarterback with talent around him. If you take a chance now on a guy that you're not sold on, that's at least a 3 or 4 year commitment. And you're sacrificing other assets that we desperately need.
But what if you're not sold on Darnold? You're taking a chance on a guy I'm not sold on. That's Darnold. I'm not sold on him. So
and
then,
I
only
said,
2 more years. Only 2 more years.
I need
right
Zach
now, you have
Wilson.
the number.
Okay, you take him. I'm saying I think it's
right now, you're the number 2 pick in the draft.
To trade down and build a roster because we have nothing right now.
Right, but you can build the roster without trading down. You can take a quarterback at 2, use all your resources, all your draft picks, and be quite fine. It's not the end of the world to stay at 2 and draft a quarterback.
Or you could trade down and acquire another 3, 4, 5 premium picks.
But
still get a quarterback and trade Darnold.
We trust Joe Douglas to hit on all his premium picks, all his mid-round picks. We trust him right now to do that.
Tyson, which quarterback other than Trevor?
Hold on. Wait, we're going to question. Hold on, we're going to question trusting Joe Douglas. How about we question trusting Sam Darnold because he hasn't earned it? Like everybody wants, let's just keep Sam and see what happens. Okay, so say Sam plays like shit next year and only wins 5 games. Guess what? That's not a number 1 pick. It's not a number 2 pick. So all these resources you want, you now got to trade to go dress up and get a quarterback. Like, it's just like, everybody's scared to change. Oh, well, I feel bad for Sam. He's a nice guy, and maybe he can do this, and maybe he can do that. Maybe he can't. Maybe he's fucking damaged goods. Maybe at number 2, you take a quarterback. Why not?
Tyson,
I'm not scared to change. Mike's point was, well, we get a new coach.
That possibility.
But I'm not scared to change.
But you're also ignoring the possibility that the new head coach might want to work with Sam. What if the
I'm
new
not
head coach
ignoring anything.
Listen,
I don't ignore anything. I acknowledge everything. But the whole Sam Darnold story that everybody's trying to tell me.
If you hire somebody that says, I need Zach Wilson as my quarterback, you take him. I just said that.
Yes, I understand, but I'm trying to get to Mike's point if I can get a word in. Is it possible to get a word in or no?
Go ahead.
Because what I'm saying is he's worried about a coach bringing in a new quarterback because of all the change. That's exactly what we fucking need. We need change everywhere. Culture, mindset, leadership, all this shit. I'm not scared of bringing a new quarterback in and building around him. And if it's a quarterback everybody believes in and he has a learning curve next year, so fucking be it. Fine. But at least it's a guy that Joe Douglas, the coach, everybody believes in. I'd rather have that to be like, you know what? I'm scared to change. Let's go with Sam. That's crazy.
But Tyson, what quarterback
my whole point is you see Trevor, and literally everyone's saying it. Daniel Jeremiah, you see Trevor, and he's on this pedestal. And then you literally have every other single QB in this draft that is like miles behind him. And
yeah, but
so
Mike, what happens every offseason? But what happens every offseason? But hold on.
Round.
No, but once the season ends and all the pro workouts happen and the combine happens, then all of a sudden a guy climbs the charts. Out of nowhere, all these quarterbacks, Daniel Jones, all these guys start climbing the ranks, and all these quarterbacks emerge that nobody talked about now. Zach Wilson wasn't a name until 2 weeks ago, and people that are talking about him and saying they know all about him, they're full of shit. So once the pro workouts happen and the scouts get – and keep in mind, there's not a lot of tape on these guys where Joe Douglas hasn't even seen them. So you got to get those private workouts. You got to do all this, and other guys can emerge. The off season is when all this starts. It doesn't happen now, especially with a half-assed college season.
But are any of those guys worth the second pick of the draft, though?
We won't know this until May.
You'd rather take a chance on a kid on a half-assed college season than actually build a roster, which we need.
Or if you trust Joe Douglas to do his job, because he's supposed to be an expert, when he brings a kid in for a workout and he watches all these different things and they interview him and he has all these different things going on, whether it's the Senior Bowl or the Combine or whatever he's doing, and then you do your evaluation. It happens every year in the off season when everybody gets ready for the draft. Everything changes. There's always a hot name that climbs the charts out of nowhere. Look at Baker Mayfield wasn't supposed to be number 1 pick in the draft. What happened there? Like, things change all the time. So, I'm not so sold that there's nobody.
Let's say that Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, let's say they climb that chart, and there's a bunch of teams that want to trade up for them. That number 2 pick is going to be pretty attractive. You can get a nice. If they want to trade up for them,
means they're a good player. You take them. If teams want him, guess what? If he's a good player, then you know what? The Jets need a quarterback. So then I take him.
The Jets are not a quarterback away, though. They are far from a quarterback away.
But then nobody's saying they're not a quarterback away. But you get the quarterback you build.
We don't know about the quarterback we have. We do know that we need a receiver. But we need multiple offensive linemen.
I don't understand.
The Jets aren't. We need multiple cornerbacks. We know we need those things. We don't know about the quarterback.
No, but I know about the quarterback. If we need one and there's one there, I take them. And You do what the Buffalo Bills did with Josh Allen. You draft Fields or Wilson or whoever you feel comfortable with, and for the next 2-3 years, you build around him, and in year 3, you're in the playoffs. That's how you do it. It's not hard. You have cap space everybody keeps talking about. You have all these draft picks. You use it. You build wisely. You spend wisely, and you grow with the quarterback. The quarterback grows with Mims. He grows with the receivers. They
right
all
now,
grow together.
Not Trevor Lawrence.
It's rocket science.
Who looks like Josh Allen right now that's not Trevor Lawrence? Zach Wilson?
Trash? Who the fuck knows? Dude, it's December. But come talk about it in May.
Right now. You're absolutely right. In the combine, maybe somebody will emerge. But right now, at this date and time, I am saying that I do not feel comfortable taking one of these QBs in the first round.
It's December 29th. Let's have this conversation in May and see what changes.
Fair.
I don't even know what we're fighting about because this is a decision that the head coach is 99%.
Yeah, and Joe Douglas apparently made a promise to Sam Darnold's parents, so who knows how that's going to go.
Who gives a shit what he said? Who cares what he said a year ago? I mean, everybody
said Joe Douglas said a lot of shit that hasn't come true.
Yeah, Mike, thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Hey, have a good night, bro.
Have a good night, Mike. You always get tested with Mike on the phone.
Yo, came in like fire in prime time.
Next up, we got Eric in California. Eric, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Oh, what's up, guys? It's been a long time. I haven't talked to you guys in a minute.
How you been, man?
How you feeling, man?
Got a lot to get off my chest, so I hope you guys give me a little burn here. But
yeah, go ahead.
I haven't called in. Yeah, I haven't called in over a year. I'm glad. If the news reports are true that Gase is finally out, it's the decision that needed to be made. But there's a lot of different ways I could go with this call, guys. I as far as a new head coach, and this is not going to be original, but I like Brian Daboll's resume, man. He's Saban trained. He was with Saban from day one, then left on his own, had some work. He's worked under Belichick. And then he went back to Saban, so he has some college offense in him. I just like his resume. I don't know anything about him personally. I don't know if he's a fucking dick. I hope he's a leader of men. But if he's anything like his resume says he is, then that's the guy I want. And I want him decision as far as can he work with Sam, or does he want a new quarterback? Does he think fucking Zach Wilson is the next guy? That's who I want making the decision. Now, our GM making that decision. I don't think he's an expert in drafting quarterbacks. As far as I know, he's an offensive line guy. Fucking stay in your lane. Let somebody else come in and make that decision, and tell me if Sam's the guy moving forward, or if we need to go in a different direction.
Yeah, listen, I'm definitely sharing a brain with you on Daboll. I mean, earlier in the year, I probably would have had Bieniemy as my 1A, Daboll 1B as far as like assistants go. But then, hearing some of the red flags that came out a month ago about Bieniemy that were reported by Albright, I guess he wasn't doing so well in interviews. And a lot of, I guess, the Chiefs' success is more Andy Reid. The way the Bills are operating right now, the way Allen's completely turned his game around from year one to years 2 and 3. Yeah, I mean, I would be completely fine if they were able to land Daboll. I just don't think he would choose the Jets over some of the other potential job openings that might be out there that may choose him, such as the Chargers.
Absolutely. And the funny part is also, man, like you watching what Buffalo did. Buffalo, like I said, and I'm not a Josh Allen fan, and everyone knows that, but I'm going to say this, man. Buffalo did it the right way. They did it the right way. They did what I was hoping that we would do. They built around their young quarterback, and they always had a good defense, and they're enjoying their success, man. But you have to have a coach that can come in and make that major decision because he's tied to that. So and if I was a head coach, he might not want to work with Sam. Then you have to move on. But that's the most important decision right there, is just building this thing up right. But in prime time, I understand what you were saying with the last caller. And I understand what you're saying right now as well. Getting an offensive mind coach in, but a leader of men. And that's what I've been saying for weeks, a leader of men. We haven't had that. We've had guys come in here that want to be players, coaches, and they're now leading their men. You know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't had that in a while. And then you had a coach right there who only wanted to run offense. In the structure where the coach talks to the owner and the GM talks to the owner. That's not proper football successful structure. And if you watch any team that's out here that's winning right now, you know, a young quarterback or any quarterback has a good running game, a good defense. That's how you win. Look at all the teams that are successful with young quarterbacks. That's how they win. Unless you have a Pat Mahomes. And prime time, you're extremely right when it comes to Eric the Enemy, man. You know, I was screaming from the top of the building from him. But the more information, the more research I've been doing, I don't think he's a guy for us. I think a lot of the success that he has is really, I didn't know this, but Andy Reid makes the call and gives it to him. He calls it in. So Andy Reid's really making those calls. You know what I'm saying? So that's something, you know, a little food for thought, man.
Hey, and as far as the new coach making the quarterback decision moving forward, I'm totally fine with that. If they want to draft a quarterback at number 2 and they think Zach Wilson's the guy, totally fine with that. But if he's not, if there's any hesitation at all, there's guys there. We can get Penei Sewell. We can get Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is freaking like Odell Beckham, dude. He's that level of talent. That's the guy you got to take. If we trade down, you can't trade down further than like the 5th pick to ensure that you get one of those ballers, man. The guys are there to be had this year, and we're in the right position to take somebody.
Would you prefer sitting there at 2 and just taking, a guy like Sewell and building the O-line, or, is there an offer that, would tempt you to move
If it was me, I would probably stay at 2 and draft Penei Sewell, move Mount Beckton over to the right side, and you're set for 10 years, dude. You have monster tackles, and you set Sam up, or whatever quarterback is. You set them up for success, man. And that's
but hold on. Nah, bro. I'm going to tell you this, though. But looking at my man from Oregon, right, they're projecting him that he might be a better guard than a tackle. So that might not be, the wisest move.
He's going to play tackle. He's not a guard. He's going to be a tackle.
Yeah,
you don't draft
the
guy number 2.
I've listened to. That's why I said that you might not want to draft him at 2. You might want to take those picks, like Primetime says, move back 5 or 6 picks, 7 picks. Because somebody's going to want to come up and grab one of those quarterbacks. If you do
I want him or I want Jamar Chase.
Picks.
One of those 2 guys. That's it. That's the whole draft. Unless you're taking the quarterback.
That's the whole draft right there, right? You care less.
Those 2 guys are fucking Pro Bowlers, man. I called a few years ago or a year ago, and I said the same thing about Quinnen Williams. It looked like I was going to be wrong for a long time, but look, he's come around. He's finally growing into his own. That dude is a fucking baller, man. The same thing's going to happen with Penei Sewell and Jamar Chase. Those guys are can't-miss prospects.
Hey, bro, but what about – hold on. What about signing Tooney in the offseason and grabbing the kid out of Ohio State?
I love it. I love anything that's going to look. If you upgrade the offensive line, you upgrade the quarterback. That just goes hand in hand. And Sam, Tyson always, shits on Sam, or recently anyway. But the fucking guy has been given such a raw deal from the moment he stepped in the building. He's never had the opportunity for success, and I don't want to totally absolve him from any blame, because he misses throws, and this is the problem. Even I'm a California guy, so I've seen every single one of Sam's college snaps. He misses throws that he shouldn't miss. But you know who else had that same fucking problem? Josh Allen. And he's been coached up. Because he's had the right system. He's had everything, the support system around him to help him grow and become the player that he is now. And that's what fucking Sam needs. And it starts with the head coach. It starts with the GM, starts with ownership. But we need to make the right head coach hire and if that guy says, you know what, Sam has what it takes. He's my guy. Then fucking let him go. Let's go. Let's draft the whole line. Let's get that support system that he's never had.
Well said, Eric.
Hey, man. Appreciate you calling, bro. Don't be a stranger,
right, man. Great call, man.
Sure. Bye.
Have a good night. All right, next up we got Travis out in Long Island. Trav, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Travis?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you tonight?
Hanging in there, man. How are you?
I'm well. Listen, I wanted to ask you, Prime, Tyrone, and Tyson, your opinion on if you guys think that now that we know that we're getting rid of Gase, which is fantastic, do you think that us getting a vet attracts not only obviously free agents, because I feel like free agents, whether it be wide receiver, accomplished guys, would probably play with the vet if it's not TL, as well as a coach? Or do you think it just makes sense to just keep the pick and draft the guy? Because the more I think about it, because we can't get Trevor Lawrence anymore, I'm not sure any of these guys are really a sure thing. You know, you look back to the last couple of drafts, how many guys really come out of those drafts? Josh Allen out of that draft and Lamar, but you have those 2 or 3 misses. The last thing I want to do is reach, and then we're rebuilding to something else. I would rather compete.
Yep.
And if we could do that maybe with the vet and maybe whether that's Sam, whether that's getting another guy, I'm not totally against that because I just can't go through another season like we just went through.
Absolutely, bro. Like, I mean, you know, that's the whole plan. I mean, you know, and I keep saying this, and I'm not gonna waver or waffle in any way, shape, fashion, or form. But I'm gonna say that it makes sense to stop building around Sam, build around the team. You know, fix the, you know, trade back, fix. You know, because I'm not comfortable with the quarterbacks there, but things might change. You know what I'm saying? We might, but I don't see it. But I'm not making that decision. But if I had the decision to make, I'm going to trade back and I'm going to build my team. I'm going to try to plug as many holes as I can. I'm going to fix my offensive line. I'm going to get some more receivers. I'm going to get some more talent. But
around a veteran quarterback, though?
I mean, if we had to sign a veteran quarterback that could come in and if you decide to keep Sam and bring a veteran in and have him challenge for the job, hey, best man win. I mean, this is what it is. I mean,
I
like we don't
understand
have
in
the
theory,
money.
but I'm just so far beyond, you know, going back to, you know, bringing in guys like McCown and Fitzpatrick and circling the wagon with guys like that. Even if we are talking about a Matt Ryan or a Stafford or somebody more established, I want somebody that's going to be here for the next 10 to 15 years. Find who that guy is, whether it's in the draft,
but you can't say that.
You
can't say that prime time because you just said earlier that you want to build a team. So if they're building a team, and even if we keep Sam, you know, like we got fourth year, pick up his fifth year option. So you have 2 years to decide if you want to keep Sam.
Building around a quarterback.
Exactly, but why not bring someone in that can come in, and if Sam struggles, you have somebody competent to step in and play. Like you look at Andy Dalton right now, you know what I'm saying? Like I was shocked that he wasn't doing good with all the talent that the Cowboys have. But at the same time, man, you know, that's what you do. You bring a competent quarterback in, case your quarterback gets hurt. So I'm all with building.
There's a difference between bringing in a veteran backup as like a mentor to Sam or Zach Wilson or Justin Fields or whoever your quarterback is, and expecting them to be your starting quarterback and giving them, you know, $10, $15, $20 million a year. That's not the path I want to go down again, nor should the Jets want to go down that path again. They're sitting there with the number 2 overall pick. They have a 23-year-old quarterback on their roster. Why would we have a veteran starting next year? I don't understand why we'd want to do that.
No. I totally understand what you're saying. The only thing I want to add really quick, not to cut you off, Tyrone, because I know Tyson has brought it up, making a joke about it before. When we brought in Favre, we were 7-2 until he blew out his arm and started sending dick pics to female sports reporters. So I'm not totally against getting a vet that, like, even if it was Stafford or Ryan, with the assets that we have,
team, though. That was a team that was ready to win. That team was ready to win. Now you had veterans across that offensive line.
We can build a contender. We can build a contender with the draft picks we have and with free agency if we have a vet and free agents want to come.
If they build a contender, and whoever they draft, or if Sam still isn't the answer, then you can talk about bringing in a veteran quarterback. But right now, you're one of the worst teams in football, bottom 2, if not the worst.
Sure.
So why would
you think it helps bring in a coach?
I think a talented young quarterback could do that, or at least giving that head coach the option to pick his guy or build around Sam if he so chooses to.
I know, but like Tyrone said, no one's really the obvious answer like Trevor was. Like, I mean, who would you take, Prime? If we're going to keep number 2, or if we trade back, who would you take, and then who would Tyrone take? I don't think he's taking anybody. I'm not interested in taking anybody in the top 10.
And Prime Time not either. Prime Time is not either. Yeah, I know he wants to move back.
My preference, yes, is to trade back not far and be able to, you know, take one of those top wideouts, maybe even Sewell, you know, depending on how far they move back. He's probably not an option if you do trade back, though. But yeah, I want to build a team because I think that's the least riskiest option, and we desperately need talented playmakers at premium spots. So if they can build up the roster over the next 2 years with some extra draft picks, give Joe Douglas as much ammunition as possible, then at the very least you have a roster. And in 2 years, you can bring in a veteran. You can trade future picks to draft your future guy. Maybe Sam is that guy. Whatever. But whatever that decision is, it should still come from the head coach. So whether it's keeping Sam, moving on from Sam, if you hire the right head coach, you should trust him to be a part of that decision and ultimately probably make that decision too.
At that point, keep Sam then, because I don't trust any of the other guys that we can get in the late first or second round.
But you know, at the end of the day, all you're trying to do is make this team better. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we really, really need. We need to make this team better. That's the whole problem. We have such a lack of talent. I mean, this next draft, man, you're looking at coming out with at least 5 starters and 2 game changers. You have to have that out this next draft. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need, and and hope that at least 3 of the game changers are on offense. Or at least that's what we're lacking at the most. I mean, defense. With a good scheme and some more players, you could be okay. We're a cornerback. Everyone says we need to draft a cornerback. Why? We got 3 young cornerbacks. You sign somebody in the offseason that's decent for a good price. Let these young guys grow. Decide what you can do with May. You still got one young man coming back from next year, another safety. So that's done. You get you a pass rusher. And, Mosley's coming back next year. So, you got some things to look forward to. But offensively, you need 1 or 2 receivers. You know what I'm saying? But we just went through this year right here. We took a quarterback that hasn't played all season. We took Clark we haven't seen all season. So we don't know what he is now. So now that's why I said, when you have an offseason, when you got this much cap money, go for a guy like Tooney. That's a major part of the line. Draft somebody like that kid Watts right there. You got another first-round draft. If you got to, draft a kid from Oklahoma. There you go right there, the center. There you go right there. Your line is fixed for the next 8, 9, 10 years. You're solid. That's when we were winning in 08 and 09 and 010 and the years of Rex. Our offensive line was the counterpoint to what we had. That's why we were able to play. We ran the football. Exactly, because you were able to hide Sanchez's deficiency, and Primetime says it all the time. When you got rid of Sanchez's playmakers, he could not do it by himself. He's not the kind of guy that can carry you. And maybe Sam's the same way. Maybe Sam's the quarterback that can carry you over the top. But if you put talent around him and let him do what he got to do, he's good enough to get you to where you need to get to. And that's just what it is.
I'm not against keeping Sam if you guys, because again, I'm with you guys on trading back, accumulating assets, trying to build up the team because there's so many holes. If that's the plan, then I'm not against keeping Sam. I just felt like maybe a vet with a solid head coach, it would be easier to attract free agents and not pay the Jets tax that Prime always talks about and Tyson talks about, because it's a real thing. And wide receivers don't want to come play for a QB that's garbage. Look at Robinson complaining when he was playing with Trubisky, and Trubisky was thinking it up,
Yeah, the only thing that the Jets have in their favor, I think, heading into this offseason is that there's a lot of teams that are either over the cap or, right up against it. So there might just be, a lot of guys, as you move, as you progress towards free agency, you get to the middle of it after the first wave is up, that, thought they were going to, be getting maybe $8, $9, $10 million, and they're sitting there for, $4, $5, $6 million. You might be able to find some guys, mid-tier guys, which it seems like Joe Douglas prefers, instead of giving out the, the big contracts. You might be able to, find some talent there.
Basically what happened with Robbie this year. We wait, and then the Panthers get him for cheap, and we get Brashard Perriman. But I appreciate your guys' input, man. I really just wanted to say keep up the good work with the show. I'm a huge fan, and I hope you enjoy your new year.
You too, man.
Thanks, brother. You as well, man. Appreciate it. Good call, bro.
Bye.
Thank you, man.
Have a good night. All right, next up, go ahead.
I said, prime time, you know what I'm saying? With your little prime time only show, you know what I'm saying? You got some good calls tonight, man. It's been a good show, bro.
Stop that shit.
I ain't letting that go.
Man, I'm not letting it go either. Half hour only his shit.
Yes, sir. Prime time, baby. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Tyson,
all that Sam Darnold propaganda
you do all the work in the first half hour, and then you're just sitting lounging back for the next hour. That's right. I got it.
No, I mean, you just only one of the most important shows of the year. Primetime's like, fuck it, I'll just go solo and just do what I want and just fuck Tyrone and Tyson. I'll just throw them all off.
Yo, hey, Tyson's yelling at me like, yo, what's going on? What are you doing? Like, hey, man, talk to the superstar over there, man.
Yep, that's why he's called Primetime. That's what he does.
Exactly.
Next up, Jake Klein.
What's up, man?
Good evening, fellas. How are you?
Doing good, bro. How you feeling,
Doing
man?
good, man. How are you?
Wait, I got a question for Jake. Jake, are you ready for Clemson, Ohio State? That's what I want to know.
Of course I am, man. Of course. Why not?
Is Justin Fields going to play a game that's going to make you proud and make people want him at number 2?
Yeah, he will. And you know what? I'm actually I talked to a buddy of mine today, old patient of mine, He actually, I don't know if you guys remember a player named Asa Jackson. He was on the Ravens Super Bowl winning team. He was a quarterback.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, so he actually works for Ohio State. He's one of the defensive coordinating safety cornerback coaches, and they're very ready to go to this game. They said Ryan Day has been screaming at the players saying, we will not lose this game. Like, they are amped up, ready to go, not screwing around. So I'm just giving you that off the bat for some insider. So I guess if we're going to just kick off what I promised to talk about, I'm going to. Justin Fields, in my opinion.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm not going to say listen over and over like Steve, so I'm going to, say a coherent sentence for tonight.
Okay.
Actually, I'm actually quite proud I'm ahead before callers. This is a pretty big honor, guys. You guys must put me at highest speed. Anyway, all right, no laughs tonight. So I'm going to be fair and say that I obviously first want to see how Fields does on Friday. So I'm not going to make a rant tonight and say we're taking him number one regardless. He deserves the chance to go play hard, have all his players back finally, and he's going to have Sermon running the ball, who's going to be a great compliment. But besides all that, Justin Fields has the intangibles. I'm going to say it right now. Whoever said anything about veteran quarterbacks, that's garbage. I'm not even going to get into that argument. That's just stupid. Justin Fields, you want to start with a quarterback on a rookie deal with a new coach. I think that's the best argument you can make. Sam Darnold is going to cost us a shitload of money in 25 mil plus in a fifth-year option. I don't know if I want to risk that right now. Because right now, if you bring in a guy who's going to light it up on Friday, which, by the way, his completion passage is in the high 60s, 70s, okay? Even in the 80s, most likely, for a lot of weeks. And he has had, let's not forget, he had 41 touchdowns last year and 3 interceptions, okay? This guy had a monster season. This year with COVID, let's just cut this shit. Yeah, he had a whatever game against Northwestern with the guy who's going to get a head coaching job. This guy has outplayed any quarterback I have ever seen on Ohio State, period. More than Haskins. Haskins, I hope to God he has a better, season somewhere. I hope to God. I mean, the stripper shit or whatever the hell that was going on, he'll get a chance hopefully somewhere, learn his lesson. But Fields is a Georgia kid to play at Ohio State, no Ohio State stigma, like Burrow. Is he going to be better than Lawrence? Maybe not, but at the same time, he gets to play him on Friday. We get to know by that point and see who's going to have the lightning rod type stock that's rising up the marks. And at the end of the day, I think Fields he's gonna perform. He's going to be worth the number 2 pick. Unless you want me to say anything else.
Tyrone, your thoughts?
I mean, listen. I hope the kid does. I hope the kid does well. I mean, from what I'm seeing, I just haven't seen that much. But I guess Friday will prove it all, man. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I think when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, I just think that he was a top notch for me. And I really looked at the other kids, but I really haven't gave them a real look and real study because they haven't really impressed me the way Trevor Lawrence did. But like I said, man, I know the kid is talented. And I know the kid has skills. So I guess Friday, we're going to really find out what this kid is and what he does. Because, I mean, he's going up against the number 1 pick in the draft. So if he holds his own, it's going to be only good for him and what he wants to do. So, like I said, man, the kid from BYU, everybody keeps speaking on him, but I don't think BYU's really paid anybody, that really showed me something, So I watched Phil struggle, and that just showed me a lot. But what do you think, Primetime?
I mean, for me, I had Fields kind of, behind Trevor Lawrence by a pretty wide margin, along with, a lot of other experts out there like Gil Brand and some other guys that we've talked about already. But I still think, Fields, Kyle Trask, Trey Lance, all those guys, I think they're all basically grouped together. And if your new head coach says to any one of them, that's my guy, I can run my offense with him, I need him, you draft him. I know enough to know that I don't know enough about any of these guys yet to say that they should or shouldn't be the Jets' quarterback of the future because we don't even know what kind of system we're going to be running yet. So, I'm intrigued by his game. The last game I saw, and I've only seen, I think, 2 or 3 games of his. The last game obviously wasn't very pretty. Missed some open throws, looked inaccurate at times. But, I know he's got incredible mobility. He's got a nice arm. So he's got a lot to work with. Some people seem to think, he needs to fine-tune some things at the NFL level. It might take a year or two, which is fine if you have the right coach. There's just so many unknowns right now.
Well, Primetime, just to kind of answer your question from, I think, last night, you wanted to ask me about what would tempt me potentially to want to move out of that pick. There's always an opportunity to move out of that pick. I think Joe Douglas has proven at this point that he has to listen to any offer, and that's actually what I love about him is that he's made great deals within the draft. He dared to trade with Bill Belichick. So, I mean, that already tells me enough. He's a gutsy guy to do it. For me personally, and I'm going to say this truthfully, if we had the number 1 pick, I said this all along, if we were ever to trade the number 1 pick, which would have been insane, I want at least 3 number 1 picks and 2 number 2 picks for Trevor Lawrence. That was the bare minimum for me. If we were going to trade for Justin Fields, I would say I want 2 first-round picks, a second, a third. That's my honest opinion. If someone gives us 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick, I'll roll with Darnold for a year or 2 until that's the 5th-year option, and then we'll see who the quarterback is at that point. That's my opinion.
And I think that's a very realistic offer. If whether it's Fields or somebody else that kind of skyrockets during the draft process, you might get that offer. And even better, let's say if it's a team like the Falcons who are picking 4th or 5th, and you only move back 2 or 3 spots, you still might be able to get Sewell or Jamar Chase. You might be able to get a prominent guy on offense and acquire an additional 3 or 4 premium picks.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think he'll trade down even further. If they're going to I wouldn't even – honestly, I like Penny Sewell, and I love Jamar Chase. I think he's going to be a stud player. But it's like whoever the last caller said, we can, win now, whatever. No, this team needs talent. We don't have any cornerstone players. We really don't have many I don't want to talk about Becton and maybe Mims. It's all maybes, ifs, what, this or that. I don't want to accept that shit anymore. We're a bad team. We are a bad team. We're maybe not Jacksonville bad because we've clearly won against the Rams and the Browns. We need talent. We need motherfucking talent like there's no tomorrow. And Joe Douglas has to get it done. The clock starts at 1 o'clock at 4:01 Sunday. His job officially begins. He has to win me back as a Jet fan. I'm going to be frank with you. The Trevor Lawrence thing made me realize that my foot is halfway out the door of being a Jet fan right now because that's how angry I am with what happened with the Lawrence thing. But I still love Fields, which is keeping me hope alive to say we can get the right quarterback this year. But they got to start winning. Get the right coach.
He doesn't have to win me back.
Get the right – no. We got to get the right coach. We better be surely convinced this year or at the very latest next year we have the quarterback. Or I have no business waiting for this anymore. I really don't. It's just we all as fans have to acknowledge and understand that we should have no allegiance to giving this team anything right now. That's why I'm not going to another game. I'm not paying any money for another jersey. None of that. I'm for once after 30 years ready to say that win me over Johnson's, win me over Joe Douglas, win me over whoever the next coach is, win me over the quarterback. Because guess what? Buffalo did it for them. And that's what infuriates me more. I have to watch the fucking Buffalo Bills and the Dolphins who are going to walk in with a 3rd pick overall and another first-round pick with a quarterback they don't even know is the real deal or not. So, didn't mean to get off on the handles like that, but the fact is that I'm just going to say what it is. I'm still very angry how we didn't tank this year. Sorry. But there is still hope. But win me over. Win me over.
You're speaking what everyone's feeling. So I ain't mad at you at all because I absolutely feel the same way. Watching Buffalo, watching Miami, and you know why Miami is winning? Because they got a good-ass head coach. You know why Buffalo is winning? Because they got a good-ass general manager and a good head coach, and they understand what's important. That's the one thing that we've been lacking. So I'm not mad at you at all because everything you're saying is how I've been feeling for a long time, man. We're the most loyal fans in the world, and we're subjected to this kind of bullshit where we don't have good players. We don't have a good organization, and we're trying to figure this shit out, and they're doing a bad job of doing it. That Gase hire was probably the worst hire, and probably Jets history. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he's worse than Kotite, man. I'll be really honest with you. I just think he fucking sucks all the way around, and I think that what he did, he divided his team. So now you got 2 first-round picks. You got 2 third-round picks, and you got a second-round pick. Plus you got $75 to $100 million of cap money. I don't know what Joe Douglas is going to do, but I tell you what, you better fix this shit because we need it. And we deserve it, and keep giving us the same. I don't want a mediocre coach, man. I don't care what it costs them, man. You have the money. Get a good head coach in here. Change this shit right here, bro. You have cap money. Fix some of the holes, man. Okay, everything can't be fixed in one off season, but there's no way this team should be this depleted and this many deficiencies on an NFL football team when you have a salary cap. There's no way that this team, we're looking at 5 or 6 years of bad drafts. And that right there speaks volumes about
multiple
the team right
decades.
here.
Multiple decades.
Exactly.
This is decades.
Exactly.
This is neglected decades. People have to understand that's how bad it is right now.
Hey, we go back to Tannenbaum, man. When Tannenbaum drafted, he only took like 3 players every draft because he traded away 1 million draft picks, but he got good players, so I ain't even mad at him on that. But this team needs talent, man. We need talent at damn near every position, so why not do that? So if you have to move back to get more talent, it's not, like I said, I'm not worrying about the quarterback as much as everyone else is now because the one quarterback that I really thought that could change this organization is gone. So it is frustrating. But, hey, bro, we appreciate you calling, man. We got a lot of people online trying to get everybody on. Hey, man, great call, bro. Have a good night, man.
Get the CEO
coach,
Jake. Guys. Get the CEO coach, period. I'll end it at that. Good night.
Good night, bro. Have a good one.
All right, next up we have John out in Lakehurst. What's up, John?
What's going on, John?
What's going on, guys?
How you doing, man?
I don't know. I couldn't even. I wanted to call last week, but I was so crushed that we won that game. And I wasn't even watching it. Everybody just started blowing up my phone about like the tank for Trevor's over and everything. And then it was like I rewatched the game. It was like Sam really didn't even play that great. And I'm not really high on Sam or Justin Fields. I don't know. I don't think that we should. I think we should definitely trade out of that pick. Because the team as a whole just needs a lot. I think we could make the team stronger by trading out that pick instead of taking Justin Fields and then what you're putting them. You get one offensive lineman in free agency. Say we even get Thuney, and then you stick Fields behind the same shit that Sam was dealing with. I think it really just comes down to what head coach comes in and what his vision is for what he wants to put out in the field. Because like last year, everybody was like tank for Tua, and then Joe Burrow, he was on a shitty Cincinnati team. He looks night and day better than Tua. And then the year before Sam's draft, look at Lamar Jackson when the right system's put around. Then the quarterback looks great. So I think it depends on what head coach that we get in, but I feel like because it's like Sam or Justin Fields or whatever that head coach is going to want to do, I feel like it knocked us down, winning that Rams game on what coach that we're going to be able to get in here.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah. So you said you're not really high on Sam or Fields, and you want to trade down. So like, what would be your ideal scenario as far as like who's starting at quarterback next year?
I think that we already have Sam, so starting with a new quarterback that's like second choice of what we would have all really wanted, meaning getting Trevor Lawrence. I think that we would stick with Sam but trade out of that pick to put something around Sam, and then at least next year we still have 2 first-round picks. And if it doesn't look any better with Sam, then we could get out of it. I wouldn't pick up his fifth year option next year. I would put some pieces around him this year between free agency and trade him back in the draft. Like you said, I think we should get Penei Sewell if we're not going to get a quarterback. Like if it's Lawrence or Penei Sewell or Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is a weapon though. So the weapon can only look as good as the line blocking for the quarterback to give him time. So I feel like if we get
No, that's interesting what you just brought up. Like, I was assuming if we were bringing Sam back, I mean, it would almost be guaranteed that they would pick up that 5th-year option because you'd want to at least have, I think, 2 years to evaluate him with a new coaching staff and whatever they're able to add as far as draft picks and with all the cap space they have. But yeah, I mean that would kind of bother me a little bit, to be honest with you, if like they're taking a chance on him with with only 1 year, but they don't have enough confidence to pick up that 5th-year option. If that's how they feel internally, I'd probably prefer they just move on.
No. What he's saying in prime time is he's like, look, we got 2 first-round picks next year. So if Sam doesn't work, you know what I'm saying, we can move up in the draft and grab another quarterback. Exactly what he's saying.
That makes, I'm not saying it I'm more saying it like you're gonna we got money to spend this year. If Douglas doesn't spend the money, Douglas is trash too. He needs to go. But I'm hoping that now Douglas has the money and seeing where our weak spots are really at, that what we could put around Sam this year would be like Sam's final chance of evaluation. And then it's like either shit or get off the pot. Because I don't want to – we're just going to hand him over another – what is the 5th-year option, $25 million? And then to give him 2 more years.
If they were going to take a chance on him, I would prefer that it would be, with 2 years to evaluate him, not just on a 1-year deal where, you're kind of hesitant, you don't really have full faith in him. Because then, you're counting on Joe Douglas, I would think, at this point, if that's your thinking on Sam, you have to know what next year's quarterback draft class looks like. Otherwise, if you're not sold on Sam, you should really be considering taking a quarterback this year, probably at 2 and not even trading down. Like, if you're anywhere on the fence about Sam, you don't think you can build him up, Gase did too much damage to him, or he's just not as good as you once thought he was, you probably need to take your quarterback now, unless there's somebody that you're very much sold on the following year where you think you could trade up. And even that's still not a guarantee.
Right.
But
no, I agree.
Nothing's
a guarantee. Even if we take Fields this year, because Fields is available, the only way I would take a quarterback is if Field, that kid was saying on the last call, Jake, lights it up on Friday, and then for some oddball reason, Jacksonville wants to take Fields over Lawrence. Then I'll take Lawrence at number 2, but I just don't think that
that'll
we should
never happen.
Roll the dice on bringing another.
Bro, we never get that.
Yeah, I'm pipe dreaming on that. But I'm just saying, I would do that. But oh man, but I feel like bringing Fields. Yeah, right. I feel like bringing Fields in here as a rookie quarterback and expecting him to come in next year and start. I think it's all on who the head coach wants. But I'm just saying, then you're completely hitting the restart button. Whereas if, because everybody's over the cap and everything this year, he should be able to fix that offensive line for Sam good enough in mostly just free agency. And that's what I think the free agents should be focused on, because a lot of the linemen, especially like right tackle, we need that. I feel like we'll be able to bring them in here. And if Sam can't perform with this new head, like say Hardball comes here, and you got a new offensive line, and you trade it back. You got Jamar Chase and Mims and Crowder and everything, and Sam's still shit in the bag. Then you already know that you're going to have to get a quarterback in next year's draft or bring in a veteran. But I don't really feel like it's make Sam comfortable. I want Sam to be uncomfortable so he steps up to the plate with what you're going to put around him, because otherwise. Now you're wasting another 2 years where next season we'll have 2 first-round draft picks, so we have mobility like if we go 5 and 11 or whatever, and we're not picking till 7, but there is a quarterback who's showing potential, and we went 5 and 11, so Sam's not stepping up to the plate. We can have an opportunity to move up to get that quarterback because we have the draft capital to do that. I feel like locking into Sam for the 2 years just to give him time to develop. We've been doing that anyway, because it's when you look at Sam and then you look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has no offensive line. Yeah, he has some weapons, but DJ Green's older or whatever, and they got Mixon, so they have. But their running game hasn't been great because of the O line. But just the way that Burrow plays compared to Sam. I want to see if we put. God.
No, I said, bro, we got to wrap. We got a few more calls. We got to get online, man.
All right,
Thank you for calling tonight, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Good talking to you, man.
Later.
All right, we got Dylan out in Long Island next up. Dylan, what's going on, man?
How you guys doing, man?
Pretty good, bro.
Not too bad, man. How are you?
Where do I start? That's the question. Okay, so I want you guys to think right now where the Jets and the Bills were 3 years ago, 2017, right?
The Jets were dancing to anything while they were beating the Bills at home in a Thursday night game by about 3 touchdowns.
Can you guys hear me? I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or not. But,
yeah, we hear you.
All right. Think to where the Jets and the Bills were 3 years ago. When you look at it, they were basically in the same boat, right? They needed a QB. Both offenses were pretty worn down. Defenses were okay, but they could have done well. So basically speaking, they were in the same boat. Now, the difference from that point on is one organization built right. They got their QB. From then till now, one of them got their QB. They built around that QB. They built up their defense. Their head coach was able to convince the players to buy in and to support the system that was implemented. On the other hand, there was another team that had the chance to get two really good coaches, didn't want to pay the money, and the owners were manipulated into buying into Peyton Manning's call of a coach that he had experience with, right? Even though he didn't do anything about it. QB, which is okay when we first drafted him, wasn't bad. He had potential, especially after playing his first year. And then after that, under that coach, he regressed each year. He actually improved from 2018, and then he regressed heavily from 2018 to 2019. It's honestly really simple. I don't have to tell you guys the difference. Obviously, the team that built that was the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, playoff contention. Obviously, they clinched the division. They're actually one of the few teams that could probably beat the Chiefs. One of the few teams that could probably win the Super Bowl. They got Josh Allen. They were able. All of their drafts. They always. When I was doing some research on this, all of their drafts dating back to 2017. Basically were all hits. Most of their picks were all hits. 2017, Tre'Davious White, hit. That was the first round pick. Their second pick was Zay Jones. That was a hit. Deion Dawkins, who's on their O-line right now, is a hit. Matt Milano is a hit. Going to 2018, their first pick was Tremaine Edmunds. He was a hit. Secondly was Harrison Phillips. He was a hit. I could say the same. I'm not going to go into like last year's. Cody Ford, Devin Singletary. I can keep going on and on. What I'm trying to say is look at the difference of how one team wants to win and they have the blueprint down, and the other team is just trying to, satisfied with losing every week with no accountability, no responsibility. I'm tired of this, honestly. Can I ask you guys a question? What was the point of winning last week's game? Was there any worth to winning last week's game? There was absolutely no worth to last week's game. The better thing would have been was if we lost last week's game and we prayed that the Colts would rest their starters. Obviously, they didn't beat the Steelers. Would rest their starters, and maybe by chance they would be able to beat the Colts backups. And then we would lose to the Patriots. Obviously, we didn't because we're the Jets, and we're not good at winning or doing anything in general. So it's crazy. And obviously, if we want to come back, obviously as any team or any sport, you have to have a good organization. And I think personally, we need to follow. If we want this team to get back on the right track, obviously firing Adam Gase is number one priority. But I think the perfect blueprint for the New York Jets to have is probably the Ravens. The Ravens are probably, in my opinion, are the best run organization in the league, with the exceptions of 2007 and 2015. They've been contenders for the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl every year. 10-6 last year. 2 years ago, they won 14-2. They did lose to the Titans. They're always in it every year, 12-4, 11-5, 10-6, 9-7. Say what the record is.
You know what, though?
But they're always
that's why I think the Ravens, though, are such a tough comparison because, like you just said, they're in it every year. They have their organizational structure down. The Bills, on the other hand, they were a different team. They were like us for a while. The Browns,
they were in the same boat as us.
They were like us for a while. Yeah, both of those organizations, we were all laughing stocks of the league. Browns finally get it right this year with Stefanski. Bills got it right a few years ago with McDermott. Look how quickly it turns around. When you get the head coaching hire right, everything else usually tends to fall into place. Dylan, we got to start wrapping up.
Hey, last year they were talking. Last year they were talking about Baker Mayfield was a wash.
Yep.
Guess what? They got the right coach. They got the right coach.
Yep.
They built around him, and everybody bought in. I'm telling you, the head coach is such a big part into making a good team. John Harbaugh, the Ravens head coach, honestly needs a round of applause. Because even through thick and thin, that team always has his back. When it comes to the media, when it comes to the field, when it comes to the opponent, no matter who they're playing, they can be like the underdog, and his team will always compete. It's really rare to see them get blown out. And when was the last time you remember the Ravens getting the number one pick? I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yep. Dylan, great call, man. But we got to start wrapping up.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Have a good call, bro.
Yep. Good talking to you, man.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.
You too. All right. So that does it. Final show of 2020. We can finally put this awful season, this awful year to rest. Adam Gase looks like he's going to be fired. We can take a deep breath. We finally made it.
Over.
Tyrone, your final thoughts.
I just want to say, man, it's been an amazing year. It's been a hard year. It's been a hard year being a Jet fan, but I love everybody. I'm keeping you guys in my prayers. Be safe. And let's just be glad that this guy is gone and we're moving forward. And hopefully the road gets easier in the future. Jets up, baby. Let's get it.
All right. I don't know if Tyson is still with us or not, but I'll give my final thoughts. This year has been obviously a wild and crazy ride, not just, with the Jets, but, personal lives and with everything going on, COVID, the whole world, just having all these, shows to do, the live streams, the interactions, everything else. It's been such a nice distraction, whether we're fighting, whether, we're talking about quarterback plans, ripping Sam Darnold, whatever it is, just the jokes, the laughs, all of it, greatly appreciated. So, thank you guys for tuning in, for calling in. Looking forward to an even better 2021. Tyson,
you don't rip Sam Darnold. Wait, you don't rip Sam Darnold. What are you talking about?
Nah, hey Tyson, you got to give him credit.
When he played bad, I ripped him on some throws. There was like a 2-week stretch where I held him accountable.
When he thought he was getting Trevor, Primetime was like, look, man, Sam got to go. So I'm going to give Primetime a little credit, bro. I'm going to give him a little leeway because he was like, I never thought he'd say that one.
But I was never fully on board with Trevor because I had a feeling something like this was going to happen. So we would probably be looking at building around Sam anyway.
But yeah, just like Kevin said, thank you everybody who's been joining us. It's been a wild and wacky year, and you helped us get through a lot of stuff, man. Where a lot of us are all in quarantine, not getting out, so this has definitely been a great escape for a lot of us just to talk football and just escape reality a little bit. So thank you everybody that's joining us. Happy New Year to all of you and your families. We definitely appreciate it. Gase is gone, and hopefully brighter days are ahead because it can't get any darker. That's for damn sure. So that's it. In prime time, good job, man. This is clearly your show now. What we'll do is, Tyrone, each week me and you call it 8:30, and we'll just do it like that.
Hey, we're gonna have to, man. You get a whole 30-minute show to itself. You know how prime time do, man.
This is bullshit.
Yeah, we'll just change the name of the show now. It's like, let's talk prime time. That's what we're gonna do.
Hey, man, when you got Hollywood and Primetime as your co-host, man, I'm just trying to fit in, bro. I'm just trying to get in where I get in at, man.
You're Hollywood, dude. You're Hollywood. What are you talking about? You don't even know your own nickname now?
Listen. I forgot. Tyson's nickname is Showtime. My bad. Hey, Primetime, what kind of co-host just calls in like an hour later, gets on for like 5 minutes, and then jumps off? Like, he just comes on like when he wants to stir up fire, he just comes in.
Tyrone. You can't be Showtime if you're not on for 2 hours straight. Or if you call in a half hour late. You can't be Showtime if you're not here for Showtime.
How can I be Showtime if I don't know the time of the show? Primetime keeps changing it.
Hey, I mean,
I told you 8 o'clock.
Hey, I thought we had a plan, but I guess Primetime decided he wanted his own little spell. He's end of the year, he's that guy. So I mean, what can I do?
My coach didn't tell me I couldn't audible.
He wanted a half hour to defend Sam. We know how it works, man.
Hey, Primetime, the coach told you couldn't audible, huh? No audible, huh?
Primetime's gonna he'll blame Gase one last time before Gase is gone. That's what he's doing. Talk to you guys next year.
Sunday. All right, bro. Have a good one, man.
Have a good New Year.